Welcome to the second installation of the Tao Badass 2.0 Live. I'm going to do a demo for you guys. This is, for me, super exciting time. There has been, let's see, there's been a lot of anticipation of updated material for the Tao Badass. There's been a lot of requests for it over the past 10 years. When I left the project, the Tao Badass, to kind of go on seeking new lessons that I could share. It was about 9 years ago now. So we're reaching that 10-year anniversary of that time. And over the years, I've had a lot of guys reach out, specific questions, mostly thank yous. It's difficult to find my information. It has been for the past 10 years, and that's been on purpose. There's been a lot of interest in where this could go and where I might be interested in taking it. And I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about that today. Also, a little bit of content reveal, and I'm going to go over obviously some really fresh content out of my griddle of material. So with the Tao Badass, I feel like we touched on something in the book, like in the movement, not the book. The book was a book, right? The only real thing I think that I did differently there than most guys is I gave away, well, first off, I really researched, and instead of looking to find something that worked, I was looking to find out why things worked. And that's what set me apart. You look back on all the rest of the guys that were teaching this, the ones that survived, the industry of dating coach, relationship expert, whatever, different names, roles that we play. The ones that survived in the industry of dating advice in general for men survived because of that. So looking back on what made it special and what made it such a phenomenon, I kind of came to a realization that the questions that have been asked since 2013, around that time, have been largely about deeper mastery. And most of the people who find the book are, well, most of them are men, first off. And so most of the guys that find the book are interested not in short-term results alone. They want to be able to understand something they can carry on in the future. And I think that's important because that came from the why questioning behind the book. Why does this work? When I walk up to a woman and I talk to her this way, I wish you guys could have seen me back then. My life back then, the way I would test things back then. These are the things that legacy are born from, these moments of curiosity where you can't let it go. You can't put it down. You have to understand, and your interest in that now is part of your legacy. There's going to be an overlap between yours and mine. And I realized this in the past 10 years, that the guys who were coming to the Tao Badass weren't coming to just meet women. They were coming to become badasses, to live that life, that full, no regrets, lived it to the fullest life, that king life, and I had not reached that point. To be honest, for the past 10 years, I reached the understanding of relationships and attraction, and I could absolutely guide you in that. But when it came to things beyond that, applying the universal principles that I had learned in dating and attracting women, I couldn't really tell you what to do or give you advice. So I needed to go on a quest. I went on that quest. It was epic. Still letting people in here. Due to the quick evolution of that path, I didn't share much. In fact, I dropped out of pretty much all social media. I started speaking out against the idea of using strategies or tactics in social interaction and in attraction. And then I just disappeared. I think a lot of people saw that I just disappeared out of their world. I stopped messaging them. The messages that did come were not obviously not from me, from other people. On the behalf of the Tao Badass, they did their best. I left and went on walkabout. I needed to do this as a content creator. But it's not just as like a producer of new ideas. It's really, I saw the responsibility that I had stepped into whenever I created the Tao Badass movement. And I saw a lot of amazing guys. I can't tell you, most of my best friends now are from people, men who read the book, came from the Tao Badass. I look at my life now, most of the best friends that I have, really good long-term friends, they read the book. And I am ready now to step into this next thing. That's what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you in the last call, we went over the update of the gender roles chapter of the Tao Badass, which is chapter 1. Chapter 1 after the introduction. So I guess chapter 2. Today we're going to go over chapter 3, confidence. And we're going to go into the depths of my understanding of confidence. We've gone over, in confidence, you've learned in the Tao Badass that beliefs are a major part of confidence, that your beliefs control your body language, well, control your emotions, and your emotions control your body language. So you've learned that. Also, though, you've learned about value dynamics, 6, 7, 8, 9/10. And those are extremely valuable patterns and processes, lessons for you in your life. That has changed, just those 2 concepts have changed my life. The idea that beliefs control your body language and body language controls your attraction. And at the same time, the idea that the value that you perceive you have is expressed in a way that can be seen by others, that can be interpreted by others, and especially women. They see instantly whether or not you have a high value. Now, a woman will be interested in a man who is higher value, of course, in general, but that's not always the case. Some women will reach a peak at their value interests. Some women aren't ready for men who are at the highest level of value you can imagine. Today, I'm going to go over the updated value dynamic scale, something that I have been working on for a very, very, very long time. The center of the book, the Tao Badass, is really, I could say, 3 different principles. Body language, and that expresses in all the ways that body language expresses, right? You learn how to read people, how to know the context of that reading, and how to adjust yourself and your perspective based on that information. And then the second is beliefs. Your beliefs that control your emotions that control your body language. Changing and updating your beliefs has been a major part of the Tao Badass. If you didn't get into that, you missed probably the biggest part of the Tao Badass. And if you saw results from it and you didn't do that part, like you haven't even begun yet to use that material. I do see this thing as something that is eternally useful, the Tao of Badass, the way it was written. And it proves that over time, the principles don't change, even though reality changes like crazy. And then the final is value. What you believe about yourself expresses itself directly out into the world. This is the core principle of the Tao of Badass. What you believe about yourself expresses into the world around you. And women pick up on that, and they're attracted or they're not based on that. And that's what you learned in the Tao of Badass, your beliefs. Now, there are tricks and tips and tools and observations and everything you could possibly imagine that I had seen over time before I had really confirmed all of this. But I had confirmed all of this, and it is a very dependable model. So today, I want to go into my updated perspective of body language a little bit, not much, just a little. Because we're going to get that in the future, in a future chapter. Value, which is your perceived self-worth. what you think you're worth and how others perceive that. And then beliefs, how to reduce beliefs, evolve beliefs, how to remove old beliefs that are not serving you, and how to apply new beliefs that do serve you in ways that you might not even know yet. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share a screen situation. Let me first get everything going here. So in the future, this is the last publicly available DAO Badass 2.0 beta reveal call. I won't be going over any other things like this with the public. In the future, it will only be members of the Founding Members Club, which is there's a new Founding Members Club for the new DAO Badass that we're launching. You can go to DAOBadass2.com, and it should take you to a sign up page. If you want to just join, you can do that now. We only have 600 seats in that Founding Members Club. So if you are interested, I suggest you jump on it. I've had, like I said, some of my greatest friends came out of the Founding Members Club, like personal friends. And it's my honor to be able to put a lot of attention into you if you're interested in that. So go to DAOBadass2.com and you'll see a registration. You can reserve your spot there and sign up, and you'll get access to the weekly calls updating all the material, just like this one. And you'll be on the edge of testing everything. So again, without further ado, let me stop yabbering away like a monkey in a tree, as they say. If you were Forrest Gump. All right. This isn't going to be perfect. Let's see if we can get it perfect. It looks all right. All right. Look, so the Tao of Badass, this phenomenon that happened with, with looking at masculinity in general. It really broke down into these major sections here. And you can see introduction, gender roles, confidence, the system, the approach. The approach is obviously approaching women, tests. These are ways that women will test whether or not you are who you say you are. Reading body language is the superpower. Creating love. This is creating love is really a chapter about rapport, because rapport is what creates love. And the biggest mistakes you make are like, look, if you read this book and you don't know these things, then you're missing out, right? So today we went over gender roles last time. Today we're going to go over confidence. Confidence is, I will say for sure, the core of my realization, the core of what the Tao Badass has to offer. If you haven't applied it, hey, it's on you. If you've seen results and you haven't applied it, then actually kind of good on you, because that's kind of awesome. All right. Everything that you see here is a step. Let me just stop sharing for a second. Okay. What you're about to see is an evolution of content, or evolution of books, an evolution of video, of articles that you read online, of audiobooks, podcasts. Soon you will see this everywhere. Everything will be custom to you. We're stepping into this world where your entire reality is going to be custom to you. It's going to help to develop your preferences. And we're going to use this technology in the Tao Badass 2.0 and the Path of Kings, which is the next program that we're creating, the Tao Badass, which is a super exciting program. So I wanted to tell you that because what we are sharing today is not just a chunk of content, but a method for delivering material, a method for delivering lessons, truth, and teaching faster. So I want to enter with that into the Tao Badass 2.0 and the chapter 3 material, which is confidence. All right. So everything in life is a doorway. Every interest that you have is a doorway. Every fear that you have is a doorway. Every preference that you have, every rejection that you receive, that you give to the world, is a doorway. Anytime you choose left, right, forward, backward, up, down, awake, asleep, anytime that you choose, you are stepping through a decision, and that decision will live on in your life and will reflect in your life and everything you do. And this is key to confidence, key to confidence. Think about confident men you have seen in your life, confident in social interactions, confident in romantic scenario, confident in friendships, confident in business, confident in public, being seen, being adored, being admired. I want you to consider all of these as doorways. We are going to be going through these doorways together. And I've designed a series of doorways. I've had thousands and thousands of personal students that have come to live events. I've had hundreds of thousands, millions of fans that have read the book. This is going to be beyond anything any of us have ever seen. The way that this is going to evolve our consciousness as men is going to, and it's not just this material, it's the technology, the artificial intelligence, the delivery, the customization that I'm going to be integrating, that's going to make a difference. So let's go ahead and ignite you into the form of yourself that is confident, right? That was the reality. This is you now. You're ready to face whatever's coming and you're going to go forward. By the way, all of these images were created using artificial intelligence, and I'm the one who designed them, prompted them, and created them this way. So you will see my creation, my evolution of visual, I guess you could say visual books, which is what we're going to step into. It's so much more than that, but I'm excited. Once you step through the door, I think the first thing that you realize in the world of confidence is that there's a lot of monotony, the same crap. You look in every door looking for the secret for confidence, and it's not there, honestly. And it's a problem. I've had, when I first started out, it was like, what is it that creates confidence? And consistently, I saw that money created confidence, but I thought that was artificial because money comes and goes. So is there any confidence that doesn't come and go like money comes and goes? Yes, of course there is. I've seen men that are confident, that are actually confident, you know? And that's what I emulated as a child. It's what I emulated as an adolescent and as an adult man, even still, what I seek to role model and present to the world. But you don't see a lot of that. You see a lot of people claiming to show you what confidence is, to show you how to be confident. And you just wander forever through these hallways of options, of guidance and of advice. And then you eventually land on something that takes you out of your wandering through the endless hallways, right? Which is nice, but it doesn't give you an answer. It just takes you outside. So here you are outside, out of the hallways. You're in the open world, but what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you interested in? I think that ultimately you know deep down what you want as far as your confidence goes, but how do you actually produce that into the world? How do you make yourself into a confident man from this idea of, vague idea of what confidence even is? I think that the key to that comes down to, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. It comes down to looking within, ultimately, because confidence doesn't come from circumstance. And I'll go over this a little bit later. We're going to go over some deep confidence models, actually, that will help you understand these concepts, how to actually apply this to your life, and how to show yourself to prove to yourself that you are already this way. This is the shortcut path to get results in your life in general. But specifically with confidence and your interactions with women, I want to touch on a couple of points that are, to me, essential. Whenever I went into discovering the confidence material So everything that I ended up writing in the confidence chapter of the Tao of Badass, as I stepped into that, it was really clear to me that my reactions, my ego, my fears, honestly, the best word is reaction. Any reaction that I had that was coming from emotion or fear was hurting me with women. No surprise. Hope you're not surprised by that. Same for you, in case you're wondering. The issue with that is that I couldn't tell for myself the difference between an action that was taken, let's go back and forward here, that was taken from a place of confidence, or an action that was taken from a place of fear or of rejection or of limitation in general. So as soon as I stepped out of the world of my normalcy, the way that I was, I stepped into this impossible to imagine possibility, limitless possibilities world. And I really needed to, and you'd need to, if you want to understand the deeper meaning and see it in your life play out, the deeper meaning of confidence, you need to find your cave. And your cave is essentially the place that you walk into because you are afraid. Not you walk into because you have to, because you need to, but because it's the option that would scare you the most. It was the option that will challenge you the most, and it brings out of you your greatest qualities. So once you get into this quote unquote cave, you have a moment with yourself, completely lost in the blackness. And again, keep in mind, this is in the realm of confidence, especially with confidence women, and confidence in your interactions with women has to do with essentially your belief systems and your belief about yourself. In here, you will discover and confront the beliefs about yourself that you have, the beliefs that are weak, the beliefs that are false. And as you start to look at these things, it becomes a problem that they exist. Every single belief that you discover limits you in some kind of way. Oh, I'm not attractive enough. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too broke. I'm not interesting. I can't banter. I can't build rapport. I can't approach a woman. All of these I can'ts are more complex than you're giving yourself credit for. You're facing difficult problems. When other people seem to have figured them out, consider that you figured some stuff out without really having to try, and it wasn't in this area. So if someone else has figured something out, let's say that it's attraction, and they haven't had to try, cool, that's great. You know what that feels like. The problem here is that you really want the thing you can't have. You really want the thing you don't understand. This attraction ability, this ability to have power, this ability to attract any woman you want. And because of that, not just any woman you want, it's beyond this, attracting women. It's into the world of attracting anything you want in life. And because you want it, you can't deny it. And because you can't deny it, you must face it. Because you must face it, you have to face yourself. You have to say, where am I limiting myself first, right? So great news for you is that as you go through this process of self-inquiry, you find all your beliefs, you discover your beliefs, you see where your beliefs are holding you back, whether they're pushing you forward. You see how long a belief has to live before you have to kill it and upgrade it. And you don't know yet, but soon you're going to be stepping out of this internal world and you're going to be facing the world outside of you, changing your beliefs as they express in the world, changing your behaviors based on feedback in the world. We're going to get into that in a second. But the way that this looks is that you confront demon after demon, giant freaking monsters. These are your ego. And you don't think it's a big deal in the beginning. Oh, it's cool. My ego, whatever. My ego, I'm not arrogant. I'll be okay. If anything, I'm not arrogant enough, right? The ego and arrogance are completely different things. Ego is your beliefs. It's your beliefs as they start to conflict with each other. I believe that people are good. I believe that also people are bad. Okay, well, that fights for space in your mind. It fights for space in your soul. And as you start to eliminate these thoughts, people are good, people are bad, people are good and bad. People, no one person is good, no one person is bad. Boom, done, right? On to the next thing. But there's another demon, and there's another belief, and there's another belief. Each one getting stronger and stronger, impossible to defeat, getting bigger and bigger. And your beliefs end up driving you insane until eventually you realize you cannot defeat these monsters. Even if you kill them, you'll never prove to yourself that you are powerful, that you are the one in control. So what do then? You start inspecting these beliefs. You start looking at these beliefs. You look inside. You find out why you created this monster in the world. You find out how to interact with this monster that you've created. How do I deal with my ego? Well, I own it. I own it. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't become afraid of it. And I create beliefs in the short term. I create beliefs in order to own it, in order to create it, in order to step into the next level, in order to befriend my monster, in order to get to know its power, for it to get to know me. So the way that practically looks is that you have brave internal admitting conversation where you say, you know what? First, I admit that I've been acting like a jackass for a very long time, probably. I've been doing something that has been hurting me. I've been unknowing in that action, but I've been doing it consistently. Now, I want to know why. Not from a place of judgment, not from a place of fear. Consider all of these mindsets here. I'm going to destroy this monster, I'm going to defeat this monster. Oh, I'm so small, it's so big, it's so scary, I'm so weak. I'm going to beat it anyway. Against all the odds, I'm going to beat it. But how do you not eventually learn to respect your monsters? Look how badass they are. Look how they express you in a way you can't express yourself. And I think that this is the key. You're a man. You're in this right now. You don't know yet why you're called forward, why you're called to become greater. But you will learn over time why you have been called to become greater. You'll see who you become. And in the beginning, every single man I know thinks that defeating their demons means beating or destroying their limitations. But that's not the truth. The truth is you can't destroy your limitations. Your limitations are imaginary. You can't destroy something imaginary. Make sense? Sure, it makes sense. Instead, you need to understand how you've been using it to destroy yourself, right? So let's just talk a little about that. Once you do make friends, you have this badass mofo walking with you through life, instead of confronting you and beating your ass every day and making you a weak expression. It joins you. It wins with you. Your ego comes on board. Now, your ego can't control your interactions, can't control your expression, can't control your behavior, can't control what you say. But your ego needs to be involved in the action of creation, of interaction, of expression, even of love. Your unique ego is your unique costume. But it doesn't really work for you until you realize it has value, that it will help you and can be used in your favor, and that ultimately it acts all the time to bring you closer to clarity and to bring you closer to confidence, even though you don't really know that it's doing that, even though sometimes it's very scary. So we're going to talk a little about the principles of confidence. If you have any questions at all in this presentation, feel free to type them in the chat. I will respond as soon as I can, and I'll take a break and answer questions in about 5 minutes. So feel free to go ahead and type that in and get all your questions ready. So the principles of confidence, if you take the chapter of the Tao of Badass and you break it down, here are the real points that I made. And I'll go over those with you right now. These are very simple points. And then I'm going to get into something super cool that I'm pretty sure you've never seen before. An AI interactive tool for telling what your value is personally. And I'll get that in a minute. So principle of confidence. First off, principles of confidence. All right. First, I wanted you to know that having confidence in yourself leads to success. In general, success in literally anything. And confidence in yourself is not what you think it is. Self-belief leads to success. Now, here's the funny thing. Self-belief is a hilarious statement. Beliefs are false and self is false. Every belief that you have is going to be limiting. Any self you make from that belief is going to be false. It's going to be fake. It's going to be an ego, a character you play, right? However, self-belief is the integration of the false part of you and the false things that appear in the world. And somehow, by some grace, these two things come together to lead to success. And that's what confidence really is. It's some interesting combination of self-delusion and self-acceptance. So strange. So I'll go into that today. So attracting all women through one system is a fantasy. This is a key that I immediately deliver in the Tao of Badass. It's so crucial and essential. You cannot say, I will do one thing and I will attract the woman I want. If that's the case, the woman that you find will have liked the thing you did and not you. And if she likes the thing you did, then either you're doing it all the time to make her happy, in which case she's probably going to get bored with you doing that thing and move on, or you're not doing that thing all the time and she's losing interest and getting bored and moving on. So obviously that's not going to work. There's no one system to attract women. That's a fantasy. What you have is something that you should do specifically. That's reality. There is a best action for you, something you can do today that will make you more attractive tomorrow when you wake up, and something you can do tomorrow that will make you more attractive the next day, and so on. So etymology is something I love so much. Etymology is the study of the meaning of the study of the origins of the meanings of words. So the origin of a word. What does the word confidence really mean? What did it mean originally? Well, it meant to trust. You can obviously see that here. To trust. Confide, right? To confide into someone is to trust them. Confidence is to trust. So why is it that confidence became this attractive quality? If the trusting is the thing, like if trusting was a thing, then that made a man confident, then what if I trusted everybody and they took advantage of me? Okay, good thinking, right? That's weird. That doesn't make sense. When words were created a long time ago, the word confidence that was created, it was a Latin word. The word confidence, when it was created, there was a different mindset. They didn't say to trust everyone. This means to trust everything in the world that happens, no matter what it is, to trust it. So this is like a yes and mentality, right? The yes and mentality is like when someone throws something random at you, you don't deny it and go, that's stupid. You go, yeah, that's true. And here's a new thing I'll add to it as well. So it's an old improv tool, the yes and game, to say something random. And then the next person says, yeah, and something random. And the next person says, yeah, and something random, right? And that to me is closer to trust. The funny thing is that trust really isn't about, in my experience, it isn't about proving to yourself that 100% of the time, something will work. It's about proving to yourself that there's some kind of order to things at all. And when I say trusting everything that happens, I mean that if a woman walks up to you, it's going well and you're interacting, and then suddenly it starts going south, then trust that that's because of something that makes sense. Whether it's something you did, or whether it's something that she did, something you're thinking, something she's thinking, you don't know any of that yet, but trust that it makes sense and that this will make sense soon, and that it will have a reflection for you to be able to change your behavior based on it. And that's what confidence means. Literally, the word confidence means to trust. To trust, not that everyone is going to do what they say, not that blah, 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 but to trust that everything that happens perfectly and for a reason. Okay, and that's confidence. So women find confidence attractive, but many women don't understand what it is in general. They don't understand that what they find attractive in a man is that a man trusts the universe, trusts everything, trusts whatever's going on is the right thing, even if they don't understand it. Okay, so with that in mind, women are attracted to wealthy men. This is something I go into deeply in the Tao Badass in this chapter, because of their perceived benefits. But there are actually other factors at play. So that means that essentially women are attracted to wealthy men, not because they're wealthy, it's not because they have money, but because they seem to trust, they seem confident. Some women, of course, will be fooled by a man who is wealthy, who doesn't have confidence for a time, but she won't be long-term. So next principle, women find men with money attractive due to their confidence and their ability to perform under pressure. This is key. This is one of the key elements, at least of the Tao Badass. Women find men with money attractive. Why? Because they have confidence and because they can perform under pressure. That means confidence, trust, and pressure and performance both together become attraction. Not money. Money is just an indicator of this thing. And most women will be curious about a man with money, but they won't be forever interested in a man with money unless he has these qualities, because women are essentially, as I said in the Tao Badass, excellent talent scouts. So women are attracted to men in leadership positions because of their confidence and ability to make others feel valued. Again, we're getting into the value direction now. Women evaluate attractiveness based on their initial encounter. This is key. Something I go over deeply in the Tao Badass too, is that most of the attractiveness that a woman will experience with you is going to be on the initial moment that she meets you. And finally, reading body language to assess people is essentially the way for you to know if a woman's evaluation of you on the initial encounter has been positive or negative, and how to shift that over time. So I'm going to take a quick bathroom break. I'm going to come right back, and then we'll continue this. I'm drinking a little beer. Hope you're having some too. Take this moment for the next literally 1 minute to write into the chat any questions you have, and especially any situation that you experienced, whether you were there or you saw somebody do something, whether you involved or someone else was, any experience where you want to know what the value dynamic would be. Am I being a 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10? And the new value dynamic scale goes to 11 and 12. So if you have those, go ahead and put it in the chat. No, it doesn't have to involve women. It can be any kind of value dynamic interaction. It could be friends, it could be business, it could be anything. Give me some details. In a minute, I'm going to show you something mind-blowing that we're building for the Tao 2.0 list. Go ahead and do that while I use the restroom, and I will be right back and we'll continue. There we go. Now my microphone's back on. All right. So we're going to continue with the content delivery system here. Super awesome stuff. Let's look at the next one. Okay. So going through, I'm going to plow through these with you guys. I hope you're cool with following along kind of quickly. Body language is an accurate reflection of emotions. We went over that earlier. And it's difficult to control, which means it's a reliable source of information. It's difficult to control, the women can trust it, right? So you can't control it because it's based on your emotions. So learning to control your emotions by hacking into the brain to be confident and in control is essentially where I started, right? How do I hack into my brain? Through my emotions. Well, it turns out you can do that through belief systems. Belief systems are essentially what control emotions and body language, which affects your success in general. But we'll say for now, your success with women. Redefining beliefs to be positive for better body language is essentially the point of this chapter. Now, there are 1,000 ways of looking at this. It's not always body language. There's a bunch of other stuff that changes too, besides body language, tonality, stuff that you actually say, the words that come out of your mouth, the things that you don't say, which are just as important. However, body language is a great place to start for us, at least in this conversation. So in the Tao Badass, I demonstrated how confidence changes whether or not a woman is attracted to you by saying, imagine imagine you walk down the street and you see a group of girls walking toward you. Say there's 4 of them, say there's 3 of them, and they're walking towards you and they see you and they're kind of, looking over and kind of whispering to each other, and they start talking quieter. As soon as they walk past you, they burst into laughter, right? And an attractive person, an attractive man, would feel like, oh, they're laughing because they're nervous and they are trying to get the guts to say something, and no one could. And an unattractive person, a man, would say, oh, they're laughing at me because I'm gross or stupid or whatever. And I think that I'm not, right? I'm tricking myself by acting like I'm valuable. That difference in mindset is actually what women will pay attention to. That's what tells them whether or not you're attractive in the first place. So you want to consider which beliefs will lead to body language changes that will create a confident, attractive presence for women. Because women will assess attraction based on body language, right? Like I said before, not the initial body language, but the responsive body language. Feeling rejected and angry due to lack of self-confidence by the woman will actually create you as an unattractive man. So before that moment, they don't know if you're attractive or not, if you're confident or not, truly confident. And confidence, is, we can agree, confidence and humor are the 2 most commonly quoted characteristics of a man that women find attractive. So if you're feeling rejected and angry due to lack of self-confidence whenever a woman rejects you, then it's probably because you don't really believe that you are valuable in the first place. And a lot of women over time have learned that if they just reject men in general, then the ones that survive that rejection will be probably more valuable, right? So keep that in mind. You want to be able to survive rejection in that way. Body language reflects negative feelings, slouching, head down, eyes to the ground, trying to be small, right? You learned all about that in Tao Badass. Beliefs determine attractiveness to women. So if you have beliefs about yourself that are positive, then women will become more attracted to you, period. And of course, if you believe but it's false and you don't truly believe it, women will find that out and it won't really work. You'll be always kind of trying to compensate. It's not going to work out. Testing the concept that our minds create the atmosphere by believing in one's own attractiveness. This is something that for me became an issue, not an issue, a focus, a big reveal for me was, how do I test that I'm creating my attraction level by changing my beliefs? And I did it by creating a new belief system that involved convincing me that something that I believed before is not true. And then convincing myself that a new thing might be true, proclaiming it out loud, and then making it unshakable by getting feedback on that. So let me see if I can see all this. Yep. So forming beliefs, evaluating evidence, making decisions. These are the three essential elements of the belief creation process. There's 5 or 4 real steps, right? You challenge the negative belief that you currently find. So you can look at a current belief that you have and challenge it. You can say, write down a list of negative things that you believe about yourself right now. You could write challenges, which essentially challenges are proof to the contrary. For example, if you said a belief that you had is that I'm not attractive, if one woman has ever been attracted to you, you can't say you're not attractive. That's not true. What you can say is that I don't seem to be attractive to a lot of women. You can't even say I'm not attractive to most women, because you don't know. Women don't come out and tell you that they're attracted to you. Like, you don't see a woman going, oh, you're unattractive as you walk by. Oh, you're attractive as you walk by. They don't say that. So how the heck do you know, man? You're just making that shit up. So challenging negative beliefs to create a positive outlook, freaking rock. And accepting a new belief to replace an old one through affirmations, rad, right? That's forming a new belief. Proclaiming the belief out loud as fact whenever you're interacting with people. I believe I'm attractive, actually. I challenge my old belief that I'm unattractive. I believe now that I am attractive. Whenever it comes up in conversation, I go, yeah, I'm attractive. And then I watch the reactions of others. Whenever I say, yeah, I'm attractive, do they laugh? Do they cry? What do they do? Nothing can hurt me, because I'm just trying it out. And then once I get feedback from someone or multiple people that the thing that I'm accepting about myself, that I'm saying about myself, seems to be true, then I accept it as fact. And that's that. Key to know that that's how we actually create facts in our minds. Believing in one's own attractiveness means that you learn to be confident as you realize that you are attractive. So that essentially means that whenever you are starting out, you don't really know that you're attractive. You don't really know. You start by testing something, and the first thing you test is going to be a flat out lie to you. It's going to be some lie, something that feels so false, so fake, so wrong, right? And whenever you say it, you'll feel like, oh, I need to stop doing this. This is dumb. This is me lying to myself. All right. But what you'll learn over time is that as you begin to really look at and challenge your current beliefs of lack of worth, of your less than awesomeness, of your unattractiveness, that confidence is really about realizing you're attractive already. You're not as bad as you think you are. And if you think that you're great and amazing and beautiful and all that, cool. But that might not be what matters. What really matters is the realization of your self-worth. The realization of your self-worth leads to growth. And growth, as I said, is a key element that a woman's going to look for in a relationship, because she's looking as a talent scout. She wants to be with a man who's going to be more valuable over time. And if you're that man, you'll need to know how to express this, or how to keep from not expressing this, in order to show the honest truth that you are the right choice for her. Of course, your self-worth is attractive to women. Okay. Just looking at a little chat here, notes. All right, moving forward here. So I went over polar opposing insecurity compensation in the Tao of Badass. And that's essentially where you will swing to the opposite direction whenever you have an insecurity and express the opposite thing. So guys who are really afraid of being weak or small will be loud and obnoxious and work out too much and get huge and that kind of thing, right? All right, so cool. right? I want to demonstrate now, though, something that is the future of the Tao Badass. It's the future, I think, of men's work in general. It might even be the future of all books, of all lessons, and of all information in the future. And that is dynamic content. I'm going to reveal to you today the value dynamics 2.0 scale. This is a tool. It's not completely set up. Oop, let me get out of that one. That's a little bit ahead of schedule. Let me find it here. There we go. It's not completely live, so it's only going to be live for the founding members. I'm going to demonstrate it here today so you can see it. Here's what it looks like. All right. Let me see if I can get this to work a little bit better image-wise. So you don't see more of my icons on my computer. Just bear with me here while I do a little editing. Okay. All right, so value dynamics, right? Let's think of a circumstance in which you saw someone acting or you acted and you're thinking about it over and over again. What was the value, the personal value that I was expressing in that moment? And you might ask that question if you screwed up. Almost definitely if you screwed up, you'll be like, where did I screw up? How did I screw up? Did I screw up as well? If things don't go the way that you want, if things don't go the way that you expect them to go, then of course you're going to be looking within pretty quickly to see if you were the reason why. And I think also sometimes you'll look at interactions and wonder, was that a good example of a 10 behavior or an 11 behavior, right? So I made an AI tool that will analyze your interactions and it'll tell you what value you were coming from and what value someone else was coming from. So I'll go ahead and start with this. I saw a guy, and again, go ahead and put into the chat any behavior you'd like to analyze. And as soon as this is done, I'll show you how to do it. And soon this will be available to founding members. Founding members are going to get access to all of these tools first. You can see it's in test mode down here because they're the beta testers and they're my homies. So if you want to join the founding members club, go to taoofbadass2.com, click reserve your seat there and go ahead and join, and you'll get all these calls from here moving forward, plus all of these tools as well before anyone else can. And you'll help me shape all this content because honestly, this is a lot of work and I really would love some feedback and also would love some friends in this whole process to like play. So let's say I saw a guy talking to his girlfriend, okay, right? She was crying and he was holding her hand and breathing slowly. She stopped crying and, oops, let's make this a little bit bigger. She stopped crying and started to hug him. Okay, now I wonder, this is a random circumstance, right? I wonder what value is this guy coming from on the value dynamics scale? So I click it, we do our magic in the background, have a drink of beer, which I highly recommend you do if you're over 21. All right, and it spits out that this is a 10 behavior. Is it not a 10 behavior though? Isn't that accurate? The principle at the center of this behavior is that of unconditional love and support. Okay, so let me pause here for a second. Let me just pause here. Let me see, how can I do this? Okay, so value dynamics, the core of the entire material for the Tao Badass. The thing that if you understood it, you really saw it work. And if you didn't understand it and apply it, you kind of saw peripheral positive returns, positive advancements in your character, results in your life, but nothing like this. What I realize is that you have 4 types originally. Supplicative dynamic, someone who supplicates, someone who begs for attention, for value. You have someone who is combative, someone who believes that value is something you fake. And so if you have it, you're lying. Someone who's competitive, someone who also thinks that value is fake, but now I just need to be better than everybody else. And then someone who thinks that value is real and that it exists, it's unlimited, it's everywhere, right? So what you really have is whether or not you think that value is limited. Is value limited or is it unlimited? That's the first thing. The second thing is, do you think that value comes from the inside, the outside, or both, right? And with those two elements, is it coming from the inside, coming from the outside, or coming from both? Or is it limited, or is it unlimited? You get this really interesting model of a 6 behavior, someone who believes that value comes from the outside and that it's limited. Combative, somebody who believes that value comes from the inside, but it's limited. Competitive, somebody who thinks that value comes from both the inside and the outside, but it's limited. And then cooperative, someone who believes that personal value, aka confidence, is unlimited, but it comes from the inside, or sorry, from the outside. Now, this is really, really important. There are 2 more levels above this. Let's say 3, right? 3 more levels above this. You have 6, 7, 8, and I called it 9, right? 9 was your best case scenario, best thing that you could do. Well, now I have the definition of a 10. I have the definition of an 11 and the definition of a 12. And these new values, you can test and see in this tool. So I'm going to go ahead and share again, just because I wanted to explain that. The principle, let me just get this out of the way. At the center of this behavior is that of unconditional love and support. This implies that cooperative dynamic, unlimited intrinsic, number 10. Okay, number 10. If you have this belief, you are a cooperative leader. A 10 is not just a 10, right? A 10 is not the same as a 9. A 9 is a cooperative dynamic person. A 10 is a cooperative dynamic leader. Someone who's mastered the application of cooperative dynamics, not just using it here and there. A 10 is someone who does it all the time. Okay, good there. So now we've defined 10, something we've never done before, something that has never been done before in the Tao of Badass. Okay, it was always something out of reach. This dynamic involves giving value to others without expecting anything in return, right? The man in the example is showing unconditional love and support of his girlfriend, which is the example in this dynamic. Okay, great. Cool. That does it, right? Cooperative leader dynamic. That's 10. So then you have 6, supplicative, 7, combative, 8, competitive, 9, cooperative, 10, cooperative leader. Okay. So we're going to go take a couple others and grab them and add them in here too. I grabbed one from Lex. I'm just going to go ahead and grab it literally word for word, and we're going to paste it in with a little precursor. All right. So here's a situation that was just delivered by somebody. We'll go ahead and paste it in. Started a new job a couple months ago. The guy that originally was very cool, seemed to want friendship, began to shit talk quite daily. Once I began to eat in the lunchroom in front of other guys and a girl I'm seeing, felt like he thought I wouldn't say anything back because I'm nice. Where is this? And he would laugh off things he'd say. I would laugh off things he'd say. Anyway, it seemed to continue and get worse, which is odd because that's new to me. In the past, I'd bite back very quickly, but in my attempt to not be an asshole, it seems to become seen as a weakness. Okay, great. Now let's take a look at this. This isn't exactly the kind of scenario that normally this system's built for, but let's check it out and see. It's probably going to tell you his or your dynamic. So let's see. We'll probably choose one of the two. There we go, bro. And didn't you know it already? He's acting like an 8, isn't he? You showed up and you have value. It's as if he believes that value is limited, and it's outside, it's externally expressed and internally expressed. So now he's manipulating, he's using manipulative tactics to maintain more personal value than others. Doesn't that sound like the dude you're talking about? Yes, it does. Now, if you play that same game, you're going to end up in the same position playing an 8's game, right? And you don't win as an 8. So what you want to do, you guys are going to freaking love dicking around with this thing, to be honest. And this is just one of many tools I've made, many. I've got some that'll analyze your interactions and tell you where in the map of interaction you fucked up. So you can say, I did this last night. Where did I go wrong? I've got many more. I'm going to show you these. These are complex AI tools that I have learned to build recently, and we're going to be revealing to the founding members club first. So if you want to be in that, jump on it. DaoBadass2.com will get you in. This is what it looks like, by the way. Here, click reserve your spot. It's $20 a month. You'll get every kind of coaching program I do, except for one-on-one or very small group coaching. You'll get all of that for that price of $20 a month. This thing is taking a minute to load, isn't it? Go ahead and reload it here. Let's see if that does it. And $20 a month. Let me see. Is this thing broken? I might have to fix that in a minute. Yeah, I think it might be. If you're having a hard time logging in or signing up, go ahead and send an email to joshua@thedaobadass.com or joshuapellissier@gmail.com. But it looks like, yeah, there's some kind of reload issue. So if you can't get in, no big deal. But by the time you watch this video, if you're watching it, the recording, it will be fixed. So the DaoBadass2.com will get you in. All these tools will be in there, as well as many others, which I'm going to go into in a minute. And the future content is coming as well. If you have already bought the Tao Badass and you're a customer that has been following along for a long period of time, you're going to get it for free as well. You're not going to get the Path of Kings for free, of course. Path of Kings is the new program, but I would love for you to be a part of it. All founding members are going to get the Path of Kings for free, and we'll get future coaching programs and everything else for free because they're awesome and I love them. So let's go over another one. I saw a guy talking to his girlfriend. Let's spell talking right, just for shits and giggles. Talking to his girlfriend, period, just like before. She was crying and he was yelling at her. Somebody tried to intervene and he yelled at them too. Okay, let's go ahead and look within. Let's see, this should probably be a combative dynamic. Number 7, depending on whose perspective the AI takes. There it is, number 7. This is because the person is using domineering tactics to reduce the value of others, believing the value is limited and internally expressed. Okay, that's right. Now, if you want to, you can put another situation in the chat and I will run it. I'm going to go ahead and come up with some others. I saw a guy who was talking to a group of people he just met. They were all leaning in and smiling. He said something and they all laughed. Okay, let me just make sure you can see this at least. They all laughed. Then someone offered to buy him a drink and he said, thank you. Okay, what do you think it's going to determine this time? What do you think? Saw a guy, he's talking to a group of people, everyone's laughing. Someone else doesn't buy him a drink. He says yes, right? All right. This is a really cool thing, all right? This takes the level of 10 and evolves it outward into even deeper levels. The principle at the center of this behavior is that value is unlimited. This guy believes that value is unlimited, and it is both both internally and externally expressed. This implies that the connective dynamic, number 11. So this person is an 11. As if you've had this belief, if you have this belief, you are a connective dynamic, meaning you use connective or value webbing tactics. This means connecting people together, lifting value in a web to bring people to some kind of greater state overall. Now, a 10 does a very similar thing, but the 10 is focused more on internal states. How do I feel? This person here is using the dynamic, creating an outcome that they want overall in their lives based on within every single interaction. This is somebody who can become wealthy. This is someone who can become famous. Once you tap into your 11, you can become wealthy. You can become famous. So that means that you create or sustain a high personal value of a strategically chosen group of people. Okay, so that means that you support others to become great, and you support them in a deep, deep way. Okay, so that's another way you get to see a new version, a new level of value dynamics. No one has seen this yet. You're literally the first person to see this. Okay, we'll do one more. If you do have any posts you want to make, anything you want me to type in, go ahead and put it right in the chat. You can do it by entering a behavior. So it's behavior for you to analyze essentially is just a behavior you've seen or that you've been a part of. So if you feel like it, go ahead and do that. I'll give you a minute to post if you want to, and I will go ahead and type in another one in a moment to give you an example, a more realistic one. I saw a guy step up to a girl at a bar. She was skeptical at first, but then warmed up to him. Okay, now let's add a nuance in here, right? Let's say that they started talking, and after a little bit, I saw they were sitting together. Let's see, this is, I saw, not sass. They were sitting together. Then they were kissing. Then they left. Okay, let's check it out. You can type in any situation you want. It will churn in the mind of the machine and then come out with your thing. All right, this thing right now is assuming that, and this is a pretty awesome assumption, that the person who was able to do this understands value at a level that puts them at an 11. And I agree, just being a 10 doesn't mean that you can make choices, that you can make decisions to change your environment around you in the moment. An 11 really is the masterful practitioner of value, the one who can deliver and dole it out to anyone. Let's see. Okay, I will define 12. 13 doesn't exist, I don't believe. So we have 6, 7, 8, 9, which I defined before. Let me get out of this screen share. 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? Which were supplicative, combative, competitive, cooperative, right? 10, which is a cooperative leader. 11, which is a connective dynamic. And 12, what did I call it? What is 12? It's the Grandmaster prototype. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this. I saw a guy staring and smiling at a baby. Okay, This is just a guess. I'm not sure if it's going to come up with 12 or not, but these moments, sometimes we have these moments, came up with 10. Sometimes we have these moments where in life, and if we can wedge these moments out and expand them, they are unbelievably invaluable. The moment, the 12, let's say, so we had 11 as connective dynamics. Connective is about webbing. It's about long-term results, about making happen whatever you want to happen. But the next level up, the 12, is another beast altogether. Somebody who sees value as always present, everywhere. And it essentially means that value is no longer a conversation, right? Everybody has equal value, which is unlimited value. It's expressed internally and externally, right? So everybody has external value. Everybody has unlimited value. Everybody has expression of that value internally and externally. And because it exists everywhere, there's no need to pay attention to it anymore. And this is the evolution out of the value dynamic scale. This is the actual goal to reach for as a man, is to look at your value judgments of what's around you and see that it's everywhere, that it always has been everywhere, always will be everywhere. It's in everyone. And your ability to see it is the limiting factor. Your willingness to see it might be a better way of saying it, right? So I am going to take some questions right now. I have done what I've done here today. I've done to all the Tao Badass content. I've created new content, and I'm stoked to go over it with you. If you want to sign up, go to taobadass2.com, and you'll see a sign up page there. Here I will look at some questions. Okay, so let's talk about this. Actually, I would love to, Lex, you know what? You're an early adopter, bro. You're a super early adopter, and you trust in what's going on here. You've already signed up for the Founding Members Club. I'm going to do something for you, okay? I want to look at your circumstance like you're asking, and I want to explain something specifically for you, all right? Something that anyone else who's in this position can also apply. So if you're a guy and you're curious how to handle any particular situation with any other guy, especially if the guy is causing you problems, most likely going to be the reason why you're looking for it in the first place. Oops. Then I want to give you a piece of advice, right? I'll give it through Lex. Lex, look, here's how the situation goes. If you can determine how someone's acting, you can determine how to act in response, right? If I'm acting arrogant, you can act humbling. If I'm acting weak, you can act strong. If I'm acting confused, you can act certain, right? And you can find this within yourself, no matter what happens, always, forever. So keeping that in mind, the real goal here is just to find out how you need to act. Because when you find that out, you'll just rock shit, right? So how do you respond, right, to a situation? It's the same all the time with the numbers. If you have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, how do you react will be the same answer for every time if you're dealing with those people, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about an 8. I want to talk about every single level as I do it. An 8 and every other level has no ability, bro, to become an 11, a 10, a 12. They have the ability, hopefully, maybe, to become a 9. That's best as it gets. And 9 is pretty awesome. Think about the leap from an 8 to a 9. Think about it. What's the difference between an 8 and a 9? An 8 believes that value is limited and that it's internally and externally expressed. Okay, that everyone expresses it both ways, but it's limited no matter what. A 9 believes that value is unlimited and that it's only internally expressed, or sorry, only externally expressed. So keep this in mind. You're interacting with someone whose next stage of evolution looks like them accepting that their personal value and the value of others is unlimited, that it's not a limited thing that you have to receive from other people, but it's a thing that comes always inside of you and outside of you, comes to you constantly. Okay? So think about it. Think about it a different way. An 8 is a person who believes that value is limited. A 9 is a person who believes that value is unlimited. So in order to deal with an 8, you have to show them the beliefs of a 9 so that they can learn to emulate them through you. You have to show them the behaviors of a 9 because they're not going to see the beliefs except through your body language, through your actions, right? So an 8, challenging guy, right? You said you did end up handling it, which is great. You stopped since, but you had to bite back, which made you combative, right? You don't want to have to become combative because combative is a limited value mindset. Isn't that right? So you don't want to become a combative person who is putting people down in order to get them to shut up. You want people to never want to attack you in the first place. This is Sun Tzu's art of war. And to master the art of war, you must first know your enemy. You must first know your enemy. And your enemy in this case is not the person you're talking to, it's their ego. And their ego is what's causing them to show up as an 8. Always have compassion for that ego, bro. Because you have one too. That's obvious, right? But even deeper, you know what it's like to have one, to be lost in the way that they are. And they need friends, they need help. This is not the way to ask for it. This is not the way to go about getting it. They're going about it in a way that's trying to put you down. But realize what that means. It means that they believe the value they have has been given to them by someone else. Keep that in mind. Consider that right now. That means that they owe it all to somebody else. That value is not unlimited. That's not a part of who they are. It's not something they can just give away forever. They have to hoard it. They have to collect it, right? Now think about a person who might believe that. What would they also believe? That, well, they might believe that if you're acting really confident, that's a threat. They might also believe that if you're not playing the games they're playing, that's a threat, right? Now it's a big paradigm shift, bro, between value is limited and value is unlimited, right? Why is it unlimited? What makes it unlimited? How do you learn that over time? How is somebody who believes that value is limited learn that it's not? Well, you do it by testing. You test it by giving. You give value. If value is limited, you would run out. You'd give so much and you'd run out. So what you do is you start giving value. You be a 9. You be a 9, and then they're a 9, you become a 10. And you become a 10 and you stay a 10 until they become a 10 and you're 11. And you stay an 11. Connective until they become an 11 and then you become a 12, the grandmaster, and you stay there until they become one. If they'll follow you, you should keep going. If you can't keep going, that's your edge. People will follow you as far as you can go, as far as they can go and as far as you can go. So when it comes to value, personal value, when it comes to confidence, the center of your belief in yourself is really about whether or not, or related to, or dependent upon, whether or not you see value as a limited thing or an unlimited thing, or you see it as an internal thing, an external thing, or both. If you see it as both, you're going to use both of them to your advantage. If you see it as one, there's no other option but that one. If you see it as limited, then you're going to try to grab it as much as you can, wherever you can. If you see it as unlimited, you'll never try to do that. In different moments, you'll show up in a different way. You'll show up with different levels of confidence, different levels of value. In those moments, you want to know how to recognize it. You want to know how to evolve it. You also want to know how to interact with others who are going through this problem. Soon, guys, you will be, not just experience, not just look forward to. You'll be experts in attraction, dating, relationships, love. And in that mastery, you will show others how to show up, and you're going to evolve. And I've created a program. I understand this is where we are going as men. I understand that as we evolve, we're going to run into problems. Each of us is going to be different. You know, I'm here. I'll be right ahead of, especially as fast as I can, I'll be moving. I'll be right ahead of you. I will put together all these materials. I'll help to explain them for you. And I want to usher you into this next thing. I believe that right now, truly, I believe that right now we are at the crux of evolution of humanity. That what has been released into the world in the way of AI and interactions and custom dynamic content, custom dynamic material, chapters, books that learn with you, books that read with you, videos that change with your consciousness as you watch them. This is coming. I'm going to be integrating this into content. I'm going to be integrating it into the Tao Badass first before anyone else can. I'm on top of it. I think I'm on top of it in a way that most people aren't. I want you to be a part of it as well. And if you're interested, again, taobadass2.com. I know most people on this call right now have already signed up for it, so that's great. If you're watching a replay right now, go and sign up. 600 people. You're going to get access to tools like this and other tools that we're going to be building to help us. And my goal is not to live a life where my experience of who I am and how I live is unique. I want to live in a world where it's common, where dudes get it, you know, not because of the world it creates for everybody. So more selfish than that, just because in my world, I get to hang out with cool friends, you know, I get to be with cool homies. And I know what happens when I start with the Tao Badass work. I know what happens. I create a movement. It always happens. And always the guys who are here early are the ones that become my good friends. So I'm super stoked right now for this time. I've been waiting for 10 years. I've been holding back until this is, until the circumstances were right. You know, the technology was correct and I was in the right place. And it's time. So I've got way more to go over that I want to teach you and show you, give you a little sneak peek. This is what it looks like for me to break down every single section of the confidence chapter in the Tao Badass and break it down into challenges, principles, and a way for you to apply it into your life. This is going to be the staple. I'm going to give you advice for every single little tiny thing that you would ever ask me advice for. And I'm going to base it on the things that I have learned throughout my life, the models I have learned. Each one of these things is completely different, as in unique. It tells you the challenges: believe you are attractive, not believing in yourself, not having the courage to approach women, not having the confidence to make a move and take risks. How do you actually improve it? Well, you make a list of all your positive qualities, look at yourself in the mirror, repeat that out loud. Remind yourself that you're attractive and worthy of love and respect on a schedule. Make eye contact with yourself in the mirror and smile. Take a few deep breaths and remember that you're capable of succeeding with women, just in general, in any way that you want. And then take action and go out and talk to women with confidence. Whether you do it with confidence or not is irrelevant. You just get to test yourself. Now, every single one of these is going to have a different section. Test yourself. Here it is. Test yourself. Here it is. Right? So I'm going to do this for all the elements of the book. I'm going to do it for much more than this. This is going to be the coolest thing I've ever done. I'm inviting you to be a part of it. The front edge of it, the tip of the spear, is going to be the founding members club. So if you want to join that, again, DaoBadass2.com, and you'll see a reservation link there. You should be able to join, and hopefully it's working. The only reason why you wouldn't be able to would be either it's broken or it's full. So get on it. Hopefully it's not full and you can join. Guys, thank you so freaking much. You rock. I love you. This is going to be the coolest thing you've ever done with me before. This is going to be the coolest thing I've ever done. Beyond just that material, the Tao Badass 2.0 material, I'm just going to share this like this. I'm not going to go into full screen mode. I've got paths just like this that are for every kind of stage, all the way up to the Path of Kings. And the Path of Kings is my new coaching program. Once you get to that level of the Path of Kings, I will accept you as a coaching client, and we can do the mastermind thing together. And I want to help you. I also want to tap into making you a coach, making you your own leader. I can see that that's how this is going to work. That's how men are going to evolve. And that's my goal. So keep rocking it. Again, click on or go to the Tao of Badass, not the Tao Badass, TaoBadass2.com, and go ahead and sign up there for the Founding Members Club. And yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Peace. And next week, I will, if you are a member of the Founding Members Club already, next week, I'll be going over chapter 4. I'm going to build new tools, going to build an entirely new presentation for the content, and you're going to start getting access to the interactive tools very, very soon, as soon as I'm done with the updates of the Tao Badass. So looking forward to it, guys. Take care, be chill, rock shit, live life. See you next week.